Hello and welcome to Express News with me, Deepika, your daily half-an-hour window that brings you 100 news and updates from the country and the world in 30 minutes. Let's begin. On day 4 of the budget session of the Indian Parliament in the Lok Sabha or the lower house, opposition leaders spoke on multiple issues questioning the policies of the government, including the mishap in Mahakumbh. In the Rajya Sabha or the upper house, India's Minister for Health and Family Welfare, JP Nadda, spoke on the motion of thanks to the President's address. Speaking at the question hour in Rajya Sabha, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that the intent of the Prime Minister internship scheme is to provide exposure and skill sets to the youth who do not have jobs, which will help them be better placed for job opportunities. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will respond to the motion of thanks in the Lok Sabha today, while Prime Minister will reply in the Rajya Sabha on the 6th of February. Mahakumbh 2025 in Prayagraj witnessed special dignitary on Tuesday as the King of Bhutan, Jigme Khesar Namgyal Wangchuk, participated in the Grand Gathering. The King of Bhutan took a holy dip at the Triveni Sangam during Mahakumbh 2025 in Prayagraj. Accompanied by UP CM Yogi Adityanath, the King also participated in puja and darshan at the sacred site. The visit of the Bhutanese monarch underlines the global spiritual significance of Mahakumbh that attracts millions of pilgrims and dignitaries from around the world. Speaking at the second IIC Bruegel Annual Seminar in New Delhi, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said that terrorism has been overlooked when convenient. External Affairs Minister said that in recent years, India had an extensive engagement with the European Commission, and on India-EU free trade agreement, it is really time that both should get along with it. Dr. S. Jaishankar said that the world is currently witnessing two major conflicts that are often presented as matters of principle, but these principles have selectively and unevenly been applied. Secretary General of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization arrived in New Delhi on Tuesday on his first official visit to India. During his visit, he will meet External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Minister of State for External Affairs Kirti Vardhan Singh. He will also address the Indian Council of World Affairs. Replying to the supplementaries in the Lok Sabha during the question hour, India's Agriculture Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan said that since 2019, the government has fixed the MSP rates with a 50% profit above the costs incurred on production. The minister said that it was a matter of satisfaction that India has become the #1 country in coconut production across the world. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla and Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman Harivansh paid tribute to former Lok Sabha Speaker Madhubhushi Ananthasayanam Iyengar on his birth anniversary today. A post-budget conference on analysis of tax-related proposals was held by ASSOCHAM in New Delhi. During the event, Finance Secretary said that for the first time we are talking about taxation in Part A when earlier it was always in Part B. The 13th edition of Joint Military Exercise Ekuverin between the Indian Army and the Maldives National Defence Force commenced in the archipelago nation from Monday. India's Environment Ministry announced that the framework agreement on the establishment of the International Big Cat Alliance has officially come into force. 5 countries including India, Somalia and Liberia have deposited their instruments of ratification under the framework agreement. The Special Task Force of the Assam Police successfully apprehended an active member of the Ansarullah Bangla team and Jamaatul Mujahideen Naseem Uddin SK. The accused is a key conspirator in acquiring weapons and manufacturing IEDs intended to arm and empower extremist factions. In a tripartite poll battle, 3 major parties, BJP, Congress and Aam Aadmi Party, will clash for 70 seats in New Delhi on Wednesday. In Delhi, over 1.5 crore voters will cast their ballots across 13,766 polling stations in the national capital. Indian equity indices ended strong on Tuesday. At close, the Sensex was up 1,397.07 points, or 1.81% at 78,583.81. Nifty was up 378.2 points, or 1.62% at 23,739.25. Indian rupee ended 12 paise higher at 87.07 per dollar on Tuesday versus Monday's close of 87.19. US crude prices fell nearly 2% on Tuesday as US tariffs on China took effect, though President Donald Trump paused for a month a decision on steep levies on neighbors Canada and Mexico. US West Texas Intermediate crude declined $1.32 to trade at $71.84 per barrel, while Brent futures fell 87 cents to $75.09. United States President Donald Trump has signed an executive order for the creation of a sovereign wealth fund within the next year, saying it could potentially buy the short video app called TikTok. Speaking to the reporters about TikTok, Trump mentioned that Microsoft was among the companies interested in acquiring the platform. The major stock indices closed lower on Monday but partly recovered from initial steeper losses as US President Donald Trump delayed tariffs on Mexico after his orders to levy tariffs on 3 countries that sparked a global scramble to safe haven assets earlier in the day. According to preliminary data, the S&P 500 lost 45.45 points to end at 5,995.01 points, while the Nasdaq Composite lost 235.21 points to 19,392.23. French Prime Minister Francois Bayrou has pushed through the country's budget without a parliamentary vote, invoking a constitutional clause. South Korea's impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol attended the 5th verbal arguments for his impeachment trial at the Constitutional Court on Tuesday. China on Tuesday said it will impose retaliatory tariffs of 15% tax on coal and liquefied natural gas imports from the US after Washington imposed 10% levies on Chinese goods. Crude oil, agricultural machinery, pickup trucks and large engine cars will also face a 10% tariff. Trump's additional 10% tariff across all Chinese imports came into effect today. China is imposing export controls on tungsten, tellurium, ruthenium, molybdenum and ruthenium-related items to safeguard national security interests. The US president delayed the start of tariffs on Mexico and Canada for a month on Monday after the US neighbors struck last-minute deals to tighten border measures against the flow of migrants and the drug fentanyl. Trump in a social media post has confirmed that the US is halting its plan to impose tariffs on Canadian imports in exchange for Canada doing more to prevent illegal drugs and entering the US. Mexico has also reached a similar understanding with the United States. Trump said the talks on final deals would continue with both the countries. While Canada will appoint a fentanyl czar, Mexico will send 10,000 troops to the border as part of the deal with Donald Trump. The Canadian Prime Minister and Mexican President said they had agreed to bolster border enforcement efforts in response to Trump's demand to crack down on immigration and drug smuggling. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth visited American troops deployed on the border wall with Mexico. Hegseth was joined by the White House border czar, Tom Homan. The Pentagon chief's first trip to the southern border comes as Donald Trump declared a national emergency under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act on Saturday, citing the extraordinary threat from fentanyl and illegal immigration. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has reached a migration deal with El Salvador, agreeing to accept migrants of any nationality who are deported from the US and keep them in its trail. Rubio said President Bukele, who has launched a sweeping crackdown on crime that has won him popularity at home, offered to do just that in their meeting earlier in the day. US State Secretary Marco Rubio made his first overseas trip to Panama as the top US diplomat. Rubio has demanded that Panama make immediate changes to what he calls the influence and control of China over the canal. The US government's giant humanitarian agency closed its headquarters to staff on Monday amid moves by Elon Musk to seize control. Workers at the US Agency for International Development were told to stay out of its Washington office after its website went dark over the weekend, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio announcing Monday it would come under his control. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and US President Donald Trump will discuss the future of the Gaza ceasefire on Tuesday. Netanyahu on Tuesday said that Israel will send a delegation to Doha this week for talks on the second phase of the Gaza ceasefire deal. President Donald Trump said that he wants Ukraine to supply the US with rare earth minerals as compensation for Washington's financial support of its conflict efforts against Russia. US shipments of weapons into Ukraine were briefly paused in recent days before resuming over the weekend as Trump administration debated its policy towards Kyiv. The rebel alliance operating in eastern Congo, known including the M23 rebel group, has declared a ceasefire which is set to begin from the 4th of February. The announcement came just as the region faces an escalating humanitarian crisis. Time to take a short break. We'll be right back.
This week on Defense Dynamics, India strengthens its firepower. A 10,200 crore boost for Pinaka rockets. What does it mean for battlefield supremacy? From battlefields of Kargil to modern warfare. How India's Grad and Smirch rocket systems pack a punch. China builds a secret war command center 10 times the size of Pentagon. What's the Beijing's endgame? And Pakistan's internal crisis deepens. Political chaos, economic meltdown, and rising insurgency. How does it impact the regional security? Catch it all this Wednesday at 8 p.m. IST only on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching Express News. Let's continue. The Indian Meteorological Department has forecasted light rainfall accompanied by thunderstorms and a cloudy sky in Delhi on Tuesday. According to IMD, heavy snowfall is possible in Shimla, Kullu, Manali and Mussoorie. An alert has been issued for light rain and snowfall in Dharamshala and surrounding areas. Met Department also said light rain may occur in some parts of eastern and northern Rajasthan on the 3rd and 4th of February due to western disturbances. However, the rest of the state will remain dry. The IMD has issued a heat alert for Kerala, predicting 2 to 3 degrees Celsius rise in maximum temperatures in some of the areas. The weather is likely to remain dry over the next few days. Rising floodwaters in eastern Australia have forced thousands to evacuate. Flooding has caused damage, sweeping away a chunk of a critical bridge and leaving thousands without power. Mud-brown floodwaters have swamped scores of homes and caused incredible damage in eastern Australia. Authorities confirmed on Tuesday, warning of a long-haul recovery ahead. Australian emergency services are working around the clock to evacuate those in danger. Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos appealed for calm after a wave of seismic earthquake tremors hit the tourist island of Santorini, prompting hundreds of locals to leave the picturesque spot in the Aegean. Hundreds of permanent residents are leaving the island by sea and air as tremors persist. Britain and France issued travel warnings, urging their nationals to follow the advice of local officials. Greek authorities have also asked people to avoid large gatherings in enclosed spaces and stay away from certain ports and derelict buildings. The Tirumala town in India's Tirupati district radiated with lights and floral decor amidst the grand Rath Saptami celebrations. Rath Saptami is celebrated with grandeur and devotion in Tirumala and is a significant festival dedicated to Lord Surya, which is the sun god. Dazzling lanterns displayed are being staged in Kunming city in southwest China's Yunnan province and in China's capital city Beijing during the Spring Festival holiday, bringing festive joy to the residents and tourists alike. The lanterns displayed at the Guan Pavilion are filled with typical Yunnan elements featuring iconic animals and the region such as elephants and peacocks. 500 dancers showcase the Lana Neil dance in Chiang Mai, Thailand, which will feature a record-breaking performance with 20,000 participants to celebrate its 729th anniversary during the Songkran festival in April. Songkran celebration in Chiang Mai, coinciding with the city's 729th anniversary, featured a nail dance performance aimed at setting a new world record. 40 light installations scattered around Copenhagen, including on bridges and buildings, will light up at the Danish capital for the next 3 weeks. According to the organizers, the festival that runs until the 23rd of February is the largest light art festival in Europe in numbers of artworks on display. In Mandal, in northern Mongolia, the clothes, saddles and bridle worn by A. Oktaber, who's known for his 5 generations of craftsmanship, are dazzling. The true destination, the land of horses, Mongolia offers unaccountable activities related to the horses. One of them is the Winter Horse Festival that attracts travelers, adventurers, explorers, photographers, riders and horse lovers. Veladilla Luna, also known as Kila Shishva, is a tourist attraction located near La Paz, Bolivia, where visitors captured unique photograph eroded mountain formations that resemble a lunar landscape. Moon Valley is a showpiece of the region. Tall, tan-colored pinnacles rise up from the eroded hillside, creating a maze of otherworldly geopolitical formations. Restoration of Iraq's archaeological site of Nimrud, which was directed by Islamic State militants, is well underway in the Assyrian city. According to Mosul Antiquities Director, the Mosul Antiquities Department, in cooperation with and supported by Smithsonian Institution Research Institute in the United States, is working to reassemble the damaged artifacts and restore them to their original state. Retired Ali Ehsan Solak transformed old boots into colourful wall decorations in Turkey. Inspired by a social media post, Solak started collecting old unused boots, painting them and converting them into unique flower pots. He has mounted 40 such boots on a wall across from his painting, plant vegetables, flowers and strawberries in them. Researchers in Cyprus have discovered a hidden portrait that lay undetected for centuries beneath a 1570 oil painting by Renaissance master Titian. The concealed work portrays an unidentified man standing beside a stack of papers with a quill in hand, a contrast to the later scene of Jesus Christ that Titian painted over it. A violin made by renowned Italian craftsman Antonio could fetch between $12 to $18 million when it hits the auction block at Sotheby's, New York later this week. Stradivarius violins, which can sell for millions of dollars, are known for their exquisite craftsmanship. The auction will take place on the 7th of February during Sotheby's Masters Week. New York Fashion Week will return with old-time favorites and newcomers continuing to pave a way into the industry from the 6th of February through the 11th of it. Legacy brand Calvin Klein collection will show for the first time in 6.5 years under new creative director Veronica Leoni, while digital currency is affording more awareness for new brands like Lua and Colina Strada. Deva, an action movie starring Shahid Kapoor, finally reached theatres and started well at the box office. However, on the fourth day, the collection went down and the film collected only 2.5 crore rupees. After crossing the 100 crore rupees mark at the box office over the weekend, Sky Force, starring Akshay Kumar and Veer Pahadia, witnessed a sharp decline in its collections. After Kalki 2898 AD, Prabhas is all set to step into the mythological genre with Vishnu Manchu's Telugu movie Kanappa, where he portrays Rudra, a devoted follower of Lord Shiva. Tickets for highly anticipated India vs Pakistan match at the ICC Champions Trophy were sold out within minutes of going live. Star wicketkeeper batter Sanju Samson has fractured his index finger after being hit during the 5th T20 International against England in Mumbai. Former Sri Lanka captain Dimuth Karunaratne is all set to retire from Test cricket after his 100th match in Galle against Australia on Thursday. He made his Test debut in the same venue in 2012. In Mumbai Open Tennis 2025 tournament, India's Ankita Raina has advanced to the pre-quarterfinals on Tuesday. She will face Canada's Rebecca Marino in her pre-quarterfinal round. India's Sumit Nagal advanced to the pre-quarterfinals of the Rosario Challenger in Argentina on Monday. The Indian tennis star defeated Renzo Olivo of Argentina in round of 32. In National Games 2025, Karnataka leads the medal tally with 22 gold medals along with 10 silver and 10 bronze, while Services holds the second spot with 19 gold medals. Host state Uttarakhand is currently ranked 19th, having won 17 medals. The athletes from 24 teams have claimed at least one gold medal in the ongoing competition. India's chess grandmaster R. Pragnananda arrived at Chennai airport on Tuesday morning after winning the Tata Steel Masters 2025 event in Netherlands. World number 1 Magnus Carlsen accused chess body FIDE of coercion and broken promises after its dispute with freestyle chess escalated. Chelsea recovered to beat West Ham United by 2-1 with a second-half strike from substitute Pedro Neto and an own goal. The victory lifts them to the 4th spot in Premier League standings. Manchester Originals have become the second 100 franchisee to partner with an IPL team after Lancashire agreed a deal with Lucknow Super Giants. Manchester City completed a deadline deal with Porto for midfielder Nicolas Gonzalez. Man City added the midfielder in the final hour in the mid-season of window. Tottenham Hotspur signed Bayern Munich forward Mathys Tel on loan with an option to make the transfer permanent at the end of the season. Chelsea confirmed that defenders Axel Disasi and Ben Chilwell as well as midfielder Carney, all players are being loaned out for the remainder of the season. And Everton signed Argentine midfielder Carlos Alcaraz from Brazilian Serie A side Flamengo on loan for the rest of the season. And with this, it's a wrap here on Express News for now, but news and updates will continue here on DD India. Keep watching and keep tracking DD India for all latest news and updates from the country and the world. Thank you so much for joining us right now. Namaskar.